Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Monday the 11th of December. So, with so much of the month almost gone already, what we've got in store? Well, this week is really a week. We've got four major banks reporting this week. They're meeting and reporting their decisions on rates, interest rate levels. Now, the early sort of view I can pick up here is the Feds will continue to hold and look to soften the idea of people expecting cuts, taking a slightly more hawkish tone there. Now, the Bank of England have been following suit on this, and they've already recently the chair or governor, has already suggested that rates won't be cut too easily or too quickly. So that there's less of a sign of early cuts. ECB's struggling a little bit more, but again, I think Lagarde will come in and try and soften the idea, or stop the idea, I should say, of lower rates too quickly. But one of the most hawkish members is now sort of pulled back and looking is certainly looking a bit less hawkish than she normally is. So we'll see what happens there. But the euro has been struggling a little bit here, not just against the US dollar, but against many of the other majors. Anyway, let's have a look then at the risk of today. Actually, it's just going to today's risk. He says just looking at sentiment. Sentiment's gone sort of very quiet, anti-dollar last Tuesday, but we didn't have all the data out, and I do wonder if that would be quite the same this week. So we had the non-farms out on Friday. Let's just update this. Now that they were quite positive. Let's just bring that back a moment. So there was some positive data sitting around the non-farms there, holding things better than expected. So certainly a problem for the central bank in that respect. If we can now look at today, so very little out there today. Reserve Bank of Australia governor speaking later this evening, so that's not going to be causing us anything during the daytime. But this is where it all starts tomorrow. We've got the UK jobs, we've got the inflation data, US inflation data out there, and then we come into Fed rates, etc. So it picks up Wednesday, Thursday. So what I should say, leading up to that, I think it could be a choppy old time. We'll see. Traders may try and position themselves ready. The credit rate swaps spreads are still pointing to lower exchange rates in the euro dollar. So we'll see. Anyway, so which would suggest the euro might head southbound. Right. Let's look at these technicals anyway. Euro then, well, solid. Even on Friday, ended up continuing this run to the downside. It's looking soft at the moment now. I'm looking at it right down to the hourly here, and it looks like it's going to break and roll. I'm a little bit wary. The first sort of, it's only 10 or 8 minutes to 8 as I'm talking, and I'm always wary of the first sort of 15 minutes and the next hour, 20 minutes. I've got a video coming out this week on the first 15 minutes and what 15 minutes does to the market. So just be wary of the first little step there, but it does look on the softer side. That's where we've been running. It does look soft right away across the board here. So there's the potential. That's what I'm looking for this morning, whether it be the euro dollar, or I'll show you in a moment the euro CAD, which I prefer really. The pound holding up a little bit better this morning, but still and overall slightly better, but still it's been rolling backwards here, and lower highs, lower lows. Over the last week it didn't make it any better, and it's still looking soft as well at this stage. The only difference here at the moment is sort of it's in the same horrible wedgie pattern, which are very unreliable. And well, we'll see if it all turns post 8 o'clock and rolls back the other way. Technically, everything looks pretty soft at the moment there. US dollar yen. Well, the yen's softening again. I was looking at the sentiment on the yen. It's still not that positive, although the short positions are being reduced, the long positions aren't being increased. In other words, it's just people unwinding some of the carry, maybe in preparation. I don't know, but whatever. We're seeing this yen soften against the US dollar here. US dollar yen, remember, this is US dollar pushing ahead, as it has when most of the other currencies actually is looking a little bit more positive. This morning it's already into its daily R1 there. It's back through the quarterly pivot, looking like it's got more scope for the upside. Okay, let's see US dollar yen. The Aussie dollar still it's held up pretty well. Last week it held into its monthly pivot, got a decent bounce off that in the end, and quite a solid sort of move there coming into sort of early Thursday and pushing through there. Didn't manage to continue into Friday though, just slowing down, waiting for the non-farms, and really has slowed up here. The decent non-farms didn't help it at all. We saw it run into this horrible chop. Currently, it's erring on the bearish side here. It's sitting bang into its quarterly pivot at the moment. Again, it's been holding it half decently. It dropped through here. We could finally see a drop down of that. US dollar just holding up on that is non-farms better. US dollar CAD, well, the CAD's had been having some sort of recovery here, but it's gone all very sideward over the last, well, most of last week. It really didn't get any wiggle on. It just stalled, and well, horrible day on Friday in terms of its price action. I expect, unfortunately, more of the same this week as we go forward into the week a bit more. Expect the same sort of to continue. New Zealand dollar falling here. Maybe it's going to go down to its monthly pivot finally. It had held up better than some of the other markets last week against the US dollar, falling sort of later into Friday, into the Sunday and yesterday evening, and this morning it's been rolling backwards and dropping down. So does look on the softer side there, the US dollar Swissy. Okay, so New Zealand US dollar. I will now talk about the US dollar Swissy here. This is again the US dollar strength just pushing through at the moment. I'm liking the idea of a move off of the pivot. If it gets up there, I'm watching for that monthly pivot. So if it gets up there, I will be looking to short it. But at this stage, you can see last week, this is the weekly pivots here. You can see that the week was just pretty choppy and ugly. We did get that surge up there on Friday with the news, but it's more likely to just be consolidating again as we run through. Hi Dean. So some of the pairs I'm looking at, Euro Yen is switched here and looking like it's got potential more upside, along with the dollar yen. So they're both looking sort of, the yen's just looking that bit soft there. So there's some potential that we could see at some point later this morning, something set up there. Just need to be patient on that. Likes the euro yen, euro pound even, chopping away here. Got nothing. I don't want to do anything with this. It looks pretty ugly, and it is pretty ugly. Best avoided when it's like this. At some point it could break to the downside here. We've consolidated round the lows. We'll see if it can break to the downside. What I'm really looking at this morning is the euro CAD. We'll just see how this develops. it's been looking quite soft, and it's put this lovely sort of move in at the moment. It's whether or not this continues post 8 o'clock. As I said, I'll give it a bit of time. I'll give it till sort of probably 7:30 or so before I do step into this. Yes, it might have moved some, but it could have, the way it's been going, the direction could suggest we could be down to that monthly S1, and if we hit that, because we haven't hit the daily pivot, there's a possibility we could go even further. Okay, it's not a great deal else I'm looking at here. The pound CAD, etc., not looking quite as weak. So it really is, the euro is the sort of whipping boy at the moment. Either traded against the dollar, or as I say, I really quite like the against the CAD as well, but the against the dollar could be equally as good, right, if not better, maybe. We'll see. Right, that's it for the majors. Let's have a quick look elsewhere. Quick look at gold. So gold's still softening at the moment, and I didn't check the sentiment over the weekend, but it was just easing back a little bit on gold. And well, technically, you see last week it'd come off in the earlier part of the week and then just consolidated, but it's broken down here on Friday after the news there, just looking that little bit softer. Stronger US dollar maybe for a bit longer. Oil, now oil had been dropping off Thursday, sort of bit turnaround. Friday again picking up a little bit here, but it is back into its weekly pivot as it sits. I'll wait and see what happens here. Had spent a lot of the time to the downside. Maybe for some now it's getting a bit oversold, and some of the actions that are discussed or whatever else might come into effect and slow this the drop down there. But it is well, I like it on the bigger time frames here, the potential for this to roll over, but I'll wait for the move to start happening. Okay, equity markets, S&Ps. Let's just get back into dailies. Didn't overly like what happened on Friday, but then it managed to end up on a positive note there. It has now run into its yearly R1, and it's just taken it back just round about the previous highs there, the July highs, or was that August? No, it was July, I was right. The July highs that are sitting there. But we could just see this consolidate. I think the markets are expecting more consistent rates, at least for a while, rather than a drop back. Perhaps the cuts in the dollar rates have been overly done a little bit. But all the same, I think that just the stalling of them, rather than anything else, would be enough to see this eventually push on upwards here. I know a lot of people are trying to suggest it's going to dive and sink and be the worst one ever or whatever else, but beware. Okay, moving close to home, DAX. DAX has continued up and up and up last week. Friday pushed up, it's down a bit this morning, having made a new high there, but it's outperforming. It's got, in terms of the other markets there, if you look at it, it's taken out all the previous highs there. Really having a decent old run at the moment. Again, still, I mean, if anyone that's got in and held in, well done. FTSE. Now even the FTSE started to give a bit more of a certain move there to the upside, selling off this morning at the moment. But if it can break back above the monthly R1 there, we could be up even further. It didn't catch the main pivot, so a break back above that would be give us a better chance of hitting that R2 there. Okay, that's pretty much it for me this morning. Oh, I should look at as I keep on talking about it, what's happened over the weekend on Bitcoin. I haven't looked at this. Okay, so just looking at the this morning, it's come off quite strongly this morning here. Been held quite well, but it looks like, well, maybe some profit taking. The prior consolidation around the highs there would have pointed to more upside, but we know that the greed factor's very much in there. There'll probably be people wanting to add into existing positions that have been underwater. I don't know, but either way, maybe it is some stops been triggered there. Certainly softer this morning there. Right, okay, I'm going to leave it there. I'll catch you tomorrow morning. Take care. That's YouTubers, of course. Have a good day. Bye for now. All right, guys.